Right, hey guys, Luton here. So, Below the Line, this is a series that I've been doing for a while now, and this week I decided to ask some of you if I should do it more regularly. The answer seems to be generally yes, as well as some polling I did about the channel. Now, many of you have been around for ages now, and you guys know that a core of my channel used to be my opinions on different topics, and I guess a lot of the time it was around Battlefield. Now, since doing Armour, a lot of that has disappeared as it wasn't necessary, but I have always enjoyed discussing, speculating, and critiquing games. So in this series I'm planning to return to this kind of discussion. It's going to happen bi-weekly now on Tuesday and Thursday, and its format will not be simply me reading PR or recycling news stories. Below the Line was about me reacting to your opinions as well as me giving them and the best comments that are posted on that video topic. All of my other content is going to continue. If anything, this will mean I do like 2 videos on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So how this is going to work is starting with this video. I'm going to give you my opinions about a topic. You guys tell me, as the norm, what you think about that issue, what you think about my opinion of that issue. In the next video, I'm going to respond to those comments. But what I plan to do from each video here on out is split those videos 50-50 between answering your comments and then discussing the next issue, which you'll respond to, and then it just rolls on continuously. Is this going to work? No idea, but let's start things off. Let's see what happens. I think this has the potential to be a nice feature series that runs on through the channel where I'm interacting with you guys, the community, and discussing ongoing topics that people are interested in. My first issue was where to start. If there's one topic which requires talking about this week, it's Star Wars Battlefront 2's loot boxes. What in hell made them think that this could be anything other than an epic PR disaster? Whoever signed off on this system should probably be escorted out of their job immediately. This nonsense, even if DICE and EA decide to fix it post-beta, threatens to overshadow the entire release of the game. Now, myself and EA have a, let's just say, fractured relationship now. I consider my bridges are probably in ashes after I pretty much abandoned Battlefront and Battlefield 1. Why? Because they were very pretty, but also very tedious games to play. DICE sadly has dropped away in terms of my appeal to play the games, which I cannot underscore how disappointing that whole, reality is for me. The beauty of the graphics has gone way up. The consideration of gameplay quality has gone way down. I should be honest as well, my experience with the original Star Wars Battlefront was at best some light enjoyment. At worst, it was a game that I was bored of in a week and realised it was just a very, very shiny Star Wars headless chicken simulator. So we come Battlefront 2. We were so excited when we were told months ago that we would see no more season passes. I was like, can this be true? Have the EA marketing bean counters got together over some soft drugs and absinthe and actually hashed out what their community wanted? A game which doesn't break their community apart in the first 3 months by adding in maps and game modes that not everybody can play in rotations. It seemed really too good to be true. It was not a big shock to discover that it was just that. This game seems to have not just shot itself in the foot, but actually had its foot amputated in the back alley before it was even close to releasing. How did all those EA game changers not change this game when they learned, I would expect well in advance of the rest of us, that season passes were out and loot boxes were in? But not just any loot boxes, no. These are EA loot boxes, designed to not just give you yourself a shiny, but actually dictate the whole progression system pretty much. Which is a concept so monumentally fucking stupid. I can barely even understand how some exec is going to survive this one without someone losing their job. Like I said, I'm casting my mind back to Visceral and the resignations that came out of that debacle. Which, let's be real guys, resignations? Read between the lines. Loot boxes can be purchased with your real world cash to not just give you nice aesthetics and shiny things, but actual mechanical changing elements, which gives you an advantage over others. I mean, have we not learned this one yet? Gamers hate this shit. The more I think on it as well, the more the defense over paid aesthetics, because this is always the go-to thing. Everyone's like, oh, it's fine for aesthetics, but it's just for anything that's mechanical. But aesthetics is fine. The more I think about it, the more I realise that aesthetics as well is worse than you imagine. It starts off as being just some nice extras and and before you know it, you have YouTubers doing CSGO Lotto style affairs, selling skins on a black market and actually making whole careers from scamming people. And if an aesthetic item was maybe just a straight up choice, like, hey, you like this soldier camo skin? That costs you $2.99. Fine, okay, then call that, that's fine, it's worth it. But when you start doing basically soft gambling to unlock this stuff? No. Just no. So now we go back to Star Wars Battlefront 2 and you find that they're basically having you gamble money to unlock stuff in the progression system of the actual game itself. What the fuck is going on over at EA? Did they just have some crazy drunken lock-in one night and go, right, fuck it, whatever we are in the morning with this, that's what's going to be in the game? A game that, by the way, starts off with the base vanilla game at $60, let alone the shiny deluxe versions. Think of the shittiest, most abusive microtransaction system in a game, maybe one that made you say, I will never do this again. This is far worse than that. Now you might think, how bad can it be? How bad can those loot boxes really be? It's probably just some minimal differences that won't make a huge difference in the scheme of the gameplay. It's probably just a total overreaction. Battlefront 2, as with its previous iteration, bases a lot of your unit strengths around those star cards that you collect and you can actually, have on your person. Where are you going to get those star cards from? Directly from these loot boxes, which you can now purchase in-game. So does someone being able to buff their health of a vehicle by, say, a massive 40% sound unfair to you? These are not small upgrades, they are not ambient buffs that are just benefiting that player in a sort of more kind of soft way. They are direct upgrades to your ability to win versus other players. It goes on to other things like lock-on speed, fire rate, damage dealt, as much as 30% extra damage. Even if they panic since the beta and decide to nerf these upgrades, it's honestly beside the point, because the fact that they've implemented a system focused totally around loot boxes as a core progression system should set all your bullshit alarm bells ringing. I had people messaging me when I posted a little snippet from an IGN article on Twitter saying, where is this quote from, Luton? I've not been following Star Wars Battlefront 2, it sounds miserable. Well, the quote that I highlighted was on an IGN article which says, it's been pointed out to me that leveling classes is actually tied to how many cards you have for that class, not matches played, which makes it even worse. This means that buying large amounts of cards right off the bat is going to allow you to immediately equip more cards per class than those who don't, so you actually can buy your way to maximum capacity. You should not buy Battlefront 2. I'm just saying it. Don't buy it. Just resist. It's very rare that I come out and say, don't buy a game. Don't buy this game. Save your money. Just resist it. There are many games out there right now. EA needs to get burned by doing this bullshit. They need to actually understand that gamers are not stupid, that people can have some self-control and not buy X shiny thing. I think the worst of all is that we know DICE are or were capable of making genuinely really good games in years gone by, but the dream of conquering the world stage when it comes to sales left only one option to them, and that's marketing the games and diluting them down to serve a mass market. Then, over the following year, they'd make continual updates to said games to appease the harder, more core followers. This is not something new. We have seen this play out game after game after game. Now, let's just call them their base of players. These slow drip of changes was just enough to keep that base clinging on to the mild hope that it might become the game that they thought it was going to be at release. And that also created a whole sub-industry of discussing patch notes. And I've often said I find it really funny that when you see producers that discuss these games, that often videos about like patch notes do better than videos about new DLC, and it's just completely insane. People are obsessed with the kind of micro finite changes that get made again and again over time. I think the almost inevitable disaster these stupid loot boxes would cause is that we're going to find ourselves sadly back to the classic season pass BS, which I've talked about how flawed a system that is ad nauseum, but Jesus, when you really think about it, that is actually preferable to this loot box insanity, which maybe puts in perspective just how awful a concept that it is. So guys, tell me, what do you think about the loot box system for Star Wars Battlefront 2? Great system that is just maybe a little bit misunderstood, or does it now overshadow anything positive the game may actually have wanted to deliver to the community, even if they retroactively fix it? Because that bitter taste in your mouth is probably still going to be there. Thanks for watching, guys. First episode of the new revised Below the Line. In the next video, I'll discuss your comments in reaction to this. I will select the best comments. The best comments don't have to agree with me. I pick a mix of comments which disagree, agree, as long as they're constructive, well thought out comments. And then I will also pose and discuss a new topic for you to answer onto that, and so on and so on. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, if you like the idea of this series, please drop a like. Tell me what you think down below. I'll see you next time.